Hey y'all, good to see you. Welcome to Owning Life. This is Karen Joko Tifa Alaye, and I am here trying to own my own life and encouraging you to do the same. I want to take a minute to just say thank you to everyone who has listened to my guided meditation for intuition that I posted last week. Those of you who have shared it, who have let me know that it worked really well for you. I've gotten a lot of great feedback, and just this whole process of writing and recording and creating these guided meditations and putting them out in the world has been so affirming for me. I can see how far I've come, and I see I have a long way to go, but I'm also really pleased with how things are progressing. And I'm pleased that it allows me to be creative and it's helping people at the same time. So it's just one of those things that pop up in your life that you lean into, and it turns out it was something that you were meant to be doing. So super grateful. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, if you're into guided meditations, go give it a listen and let me know what you think. It's a meditation for intuition, so it taps into the deepest parts of yourself. And to do that, we go underwater. And if you're like me, you may love water, but are afraid of that whole not being able to breathe underwater thing, because that's where I am. And if that's you, I created the meditation so it felt safe to go deep, because I would have needed it as well, honestly. So that's been going really well. And I have all these other things that I am creating and just leaning into this work that I want to be doing. And it's been great, but it means a lot of balls up in the air, right? A lot of things I am trying to juggle. And everything seems to be going in the same direction, so that's really good. But it is time for me to, in this spurt of creativity, in this place where I am being prolific, to make sure that the work I'm doing and the places I'm putting my time are the places where I need to be focused right now. And a part of that is planning. So referring back to an episode I had done before about planning the year. But it also comes down to, what is the legacy that I want to leave in the world for my family, for my friends, for my community, for the whole world. And I think about this a lot, obviously, as someone who helps write funerals, who attends funerals, who's been going to funerals for decades. In my work, I'm often faced with the legacy that's left. Like, there's no more time. We have an obituary, we have a eulogy, we have a funeral. We have these things that serve to report back to the world what this life was about, what this life created, what this life is leaving behind, how this person will be remembered. And I often think, how great would it be if we began with the end in mind, meaning we decided what we wanted people to say. We decided that when we're not here, these are the adjectives we want people to use. We decided these are the ways we want people to share that we impacted them. And you're going to impact people in so many different ways. And so you're not going to know all of the ways that you impacted people. But if you have in your mind the ways that you want to impact people, if you have in your mind the person you want to become, whether you can be that person right now or you know that you need to take steps to become that person, it's when you define that, then you know how to get there. And I think we spend a lot of time in our lives trying to find ourselves or doing things by accident. And we have inclinations, right? So some of us may be kinder than others. Some of us may be more generous than others. Some of us may be more direct than others. It depends on who we are. And I want people to be who they are, but I also find it so helpful to actually pay attention to who you are, and if how you're behaving right now is actually the way you want people to remember you. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't, because we're this big mush, right? So sometimes we do great things, and sometimes we have off days or off moments during a day when we're not giving it our best. And we're human. Like, I'm human. I'm not ever going to always be in alignment. I'm not always going to be a certain thing. I'm not always going to live the legacy I want to create. But it does help me make decisions. So if I have all these choices of places where I could put my time, if I ask the question, does this contribute to the legacy I want to leave or not? It helps me cut the fat, It helps me not waste time in places that don't align. And it's hard sometimes to say no. It's hard sometimes to have a bunch of choices and want to choose them all and have to choose one. But sometimes we're just in that position. You don't have a choice, right? You have to choose. And so I'd love for people to make a choice based upon the outcome that they're hoping for. So you have to define the outcome. So I'm calling upon people right now to use this as a reminder that it's okay to a little bit write your obituary in advance, a little bit write your eulogy in advance. At the very least, put up the adjectives that you want people to use when they describe you. And when you are going into an interaction, when you are approaching a relationship and you are triggered by something, you can go back to, what adjectives do I want people to use for me, right? And in that space between stimulus and response, you can choose an action that's more aligned with who you want to be. And it's exhausting. This is an exhausting practice. Being our best selves is exhausting, I think, because you're aware, and just being aware takes effort. And choosing something other than your inclination is difficult. Choosing not to jump at a trigger is difficult, which is probably why a lot of people don't do it. But I feel like we here, like, if you're hanging out with me, you're trying. You're not perfect, but you're trying. That is definitely something I want people to say about me, was that I was always trying. I don't have to be perfect, because, I mean, if I did, I would lose already, because that's not happening. But I do want people to remember me as someone who was always working on themselves and on their relationships and how they showed up in the world. And I think in this moment, I am living that. And when I put that out there, it will help me. When I say that's what I want, it's a little bit easier to make those choices. Since this is spring and it's a time of new beginnings, it's a time of renewal, I challenge you in this moment to take some time to, if not define your legacy, then find those adjectives and put them up. Write them in your day planner, put them up on your post-its, write it on your mirror, whatever it is that you want to do, however it is that you want to be. Give yourself reminders. So in those times when you're more susceptible to triggers, in times when you are a little bit out of yourself and so you can't return to this inner knowing of where you want to be, you've got these external reminders of who that is. But then dig a little deeper, and what do you want to create? Is there a business that you're trying to build? Is there a book that you're trying to write? Is there a YouTube channel that you're trying to start? You have today. You have today. And I hope you have tomorrow, but you have today. So if you want people to say at your funeral that you did this thing or you tried this, then you have to start now. So I challenge you to use spring. Figure out what your legacy is. And if you're willing to share, that's another project actually that I am working on. And so if you do that, let me know. And let's talk about sharing your legacy, either named or anonymous, with the world, as another way to keep you accountable, but as a fun way to lean into this practice, to write out the legacy and to share it. Obviously, you can't account for every move you're going to make in your life or every place that you're going to be, but stick with what you know. Stick with who you want to be, what you want to create, and go from there. and your life will play out. And as you continue to live in alignment, you can continue to sharpen your focus on your legacy. And I want all of you to have great funerals where people celebrate all of the ways that you wanted to show up in the world and were brave enough and disciplined enough and conscientious enough to show up. So that's my hope for you this spring. So as you're waiting for this next episode, check out my website if you haven't already. There's a lot of information about me and the work that I do. You can also check out the Patreon that I'm building quietly. So through May 18th, 2025, anyone who joins at the free level will get access to the majority of the content. But I am building a community of mothers who want to support one another, and I know that we need it. I know that us having a safe place for moms to communicate with one another, to support one another, because gosh knows that we're spending a lot of time supporting other people, and we're often asking ourselves, who's going to support me? So I'm trying to create that space for that. And so I invite you to join. Free membership for now. See what it's all about. Read my community guidelines. See if this community is right for you. Let me know what you think. Share it with others if you feel called. But those are ways I am choosing to live in alignment with my legacy right now. Serving grieving people, serving mothers in particular, and using my natural gifts and talents to make the world and people more at peace. Finding more acceptance, finding more spaces for all of them to show up. So I feel like I'm living my legacy, you guys, and you listening helps me live my legacy. So again, thank you so much for all the ways that you are supporting me just by listening, by sharing, by subscribing. All of these things means that the work I'm doing has value. And I'm excited to continue to build my legacy and support you in creating yours. That has been Owning Life this week. I am Karen Joko Tifa Alaye. I am so glad that we spent this time together, and I will see you next time. Take care.